We're back. Am I live? Do you guys see me this time? Are we there? Are we there yet? If you have to go pee before we get started. I don't know if anybody's here. Good morning. Good morning. Should have. There's the Waz. Waz, you can see it now. We had to pop over from the other one. It's just you and me, Waz. It's just you and me. Oh, and CCS. It'll be the three of us. It'll be the 3-pack. Good. Good morning. Good morning. We're trying to go live. We're trying. Good morning, little. Yeah, CCS. It's the other one's not working. Right, Captain? If at first you don't succeed, you can try all morning. So we'll see. Had to sign out and in again. I know, Penny, I had to bail out of that one. It was not letting me have a clear screen. It was all fogged out on me. It was fogged out. Good morning. Good morning. We're going to talk about a fish, catching fish this weekend, but that'll be in a couple of minutes. Let's get a few people here. In the meantime, while we're waiting for some people to pop over from the other feed, let's look at this. This I thought was really hilarious. Check this out. You think they called this old inventions from 1920 to 1960. Good morning, Sarah. Missed you. So these are old inventions from 1920 to 1960. I can tell you what they really should have said was biggest balls inventions. You'll see what I'm talking about. This guy's going fishing. I gotta ride one of those. How about that, Hags? You and Mom's down the road on that? I want one of those, Jeff. I want one of those, Jeff. Just for parking in tight spaces. Or on a U-turn. You thought you were the cool one on a scooter? One more time real quick. This guy's got his own flotation device. That's Jeff and Kevin. Pretty soon you're going to see Mom and Hags drive by. There's Mom, Hags. This is Pop hooking up. Ah, Millie, I'm glad to see you then. This car is crazy. Why can't they do that now? Right, Higgs? I was at your wedding. Okay, okay, okay. That's some funny stuff. Um, this is absolutely hilarious. This is absolutely hilarious. Remember that I really am not prejudiced against southern states at all, but it's fun to have fun. Okay, so listen to this one.
Dude, I shot a 5-shot 38 one time without earplugs.
Wait.
Okay, I was landscaping this. Dude, I shot a 5-shot 38 one time without earplugs. Okay, I was landscaping this guy's yard, right? He comes out at the end of the job, goes, hey, I got this 5-shot 38. You want to go down the street? You know, there's a burned out car. Maybe we take a couple shots or whatever, you know? It was funny. Every other state is fucking dying laughing at this point in the joke because it's so goddamn ridiculous until I get down to the South. And you guys just sit here staring at me like, all right, so, you know.
Yeah, sure, yeah. What happens?
I'm mowing a fucking lawn and a stranger comes out with a weapon and says, let's shoot it at a burned out car. Okay? Dude, I shot a 5-shot 38 one time without earplugs.
One more time.
Okay, I was landscaping this guy's yard, right? He comes out at the end of the job, goes, hey, I got this 5-shot 38.
All right, so what happens?
You want to go down the street? You know, there's a burned out car. Maybe we take a couple shots or whatever, you know? It was funny. Every other state is fucking dying laughing at this point in the joke because it's so goddamn ridiculous until I get down to the South. Just sit here staring at me like, all right, so, you know. I'm mowing a fucking lawn and a stranger comes out with a weapon and says, let's shoot it at a burned out car. Okay? Dude, I shot a 5.
I got an idea. Let's shoot this at the burned out car at the end of the street. Oh, we different down here, Anthony. That is funny right there. I'm not making fun of Texas, the South, anybody. It's just funny to laugh. Who hasn't done that? I never shot a weapon. And I'm mowing my yard. Hey, I got an idea. Here comes my neighbor. Mrs. So, what happened? Oh, gosh darn it. Okay. That's really funny. Okay. This, I'm going to show you guys one more thing. This is sometimes, everyone wants to be liked and accepted, am I right? We talk about it here all the time. I want to be liked. I want to be accepted. I want people to care about me. Okay, well, that's normal. Watch this. This is great. Everyone wants to be liked and accepted. Mike's going fishing. Except Mike, who doesn't give a shit. Oh, Mike's going fishing. Okay. Look at their faces. Oh gosh. Okay, Mike don't care. Hey, not everybody. Oh. Mike's going fishing. All right, Mike has the right idea. He's gone floating off in a balloon. So that's funny stuff, am I right? Isn't that funny? Congratulations. We can't be. Let's all be like Mike. Okay. Herbie, good morning. Congratulations to Kim and Mike. Man, I wish I could have been there. I would never have been able to handle the elevation. My old body isn't doing elevations very well. I have to stay at sea level anymore. But boy, did it look beautiful. And beyond that, it is beautiful. Ripplers. There are a couple of ripplers. Did you see the ripplers that showed up there? I was so happy to see some of the pictures and see some of our rippling friends there. We had one guy, I saw one guy oh, he's in those pictures, all the way from New Hampshire. Streety, Streety, you're the man. Did you ride your motorcycle or did you fly in? Streety, and then the whole Colorado Michael League, all over the place. I saw this one picture, I'm like looking like the different heads in the picture, and I go, why, that guy has quite a nice smile. And then I look closer, and I'm like, well, of course, it's nerdy. Of course, I mean, it's nerdy. Everywhere you go, every picture you see, anything, nerdy. I was like, boy, this is it's nerdy. Deborah Pearl, I wasn't sure which one you are in the picture. Which one's Deborah and which one's Herbie flew in on the motorcycle. Then we got to get a picture of that. 5280 all day. So I love you guys. Thanks for supporting Kim and Mike. I take full credit. Me personally, they have nothing to do with it. No one has anything to do with it except me. I take full credit. Kim and Mike met at a mush fest here at my house. They'd been talking, on tea, but they met here at my house. It was the cutest thing you've ever seen. I gotta tell the truth. Can I tell the truth about this? I thought I was gonna hook Kevin up. Kevin, you don't know that she's the sweetest, nicest lady. She's really smart too. She's a physics professor. Kevin, come on over to my house and hang out with Kim. I was trying to be a matchmaker. Cupid. Let go an arrow. I shot the arrow. This is a true story. I shot the arrow at Kevin. Kevin, should we take her fishing? Kevin, do something else. Maybe a dance. Maybe take her out to dinner or something. Maybe we should take her fishing. Okay, well, she likes fishing. We'll put her on the boat. Do you guys want to hear the story? Okay, who wants to hear the rest of the story? Pop the matchmaker. Pop's the matchmaker. Yeah, I am 100% responsible for what happened there. Okay, so Kevin's getting moon eyes. I've never seen Kevin so nice to another person on the boat. He usually's catching fish. Catch your own. He's putting worms on for her. He's here. I'm hooked up. I've got one. Let you reel it. Kim could reel him in. Kevin put every fishy move that he had on. Fishing up later on. Do you think she likes me? Well, she liked fishing. I know that. But I hadn't gotten a feel for her yet. I hadn't gotten a feel if Kim was feeling it back. I haven't shot the arrow deep enough at Kim yet. But Kevin's slaying. Kevin's walking around with a Cupid arrow sticking out of his ass. It's got Kim's name on it. Think she wants to go fishing again? I go, Kevin, you got to come up with something besides fishing. Okay? Girls don't just want to talk about fishing. Oh, okay. What else should I talk about? Should I talk about, like, that I got a bear last year? Hunting. Kevin, you're not getting it at all. Okay? So I'm counseling Kevin. Kevin comes to the party later on, and every time I turn around, he's trying to get Kim a drink. He's trying to, and after a while, he's getting mad. It's a true story. He's starting to glare. He's giving me the look. I'm like, what? Psst, come here. What's going on? I don't think she likes me. She's kind of ignoring me. I go, Kevin, give me. Okay. I'm still playing matchmaker. I'm running around. Mike's there, by the way. Mike's looking all handsome. Mike's all cool. Mike's all smart. Mike's talking about philosopher's stones. Mike's in there like just very, very, very sharp, attractive fella. I go to Kim. I go, Kim, come here. I go, I shot an arrow in Kevin's ass. It's got your name on it, and he's freaking loving you. Is there anything back? He goes, Pops, if he could only talk about something besides fishing. I've been telling him this whole time. You got to talk about, these are ladies. They don't want to just talk about fishing. He has, right, Joe, no game. No, he's that guy, that has no game. It wasn't working. Meanwhile, Kim's eyes are dialing in on Mike's. Kim's eyes are popping. Mike's eyes are popping. I'm like, wow, this is interesting. We're going to go to dinner at a diner, dinner or breakfast or something at the diner. Okay. So we go, there's 15 or 20 of us. We're all going to go take a big, huge spot at the diner. Kevin's gone home. Kevin's mad. I wasted all that time letting her catch one of my fish. Kevin's gone. He's left. He's like, I'm like, Kevin, for next time you got to talk about something besides fishing. So Kevin's out of the picture. Okay. Mike and Kim sit down next to each other on the table at the diner that we go to. They sit down next to each other, and Pops is like a seat away. And I'm side-eyeing them. I'm side-eyeing the two of them going, this is interesting. Okay, you could watch, and I'm not even joking, this is a true story. Okay, this is a true story. You could see sparks flying back and forth. You've never seen anything quite like it before. I haven't. I'm looking over and going, I literally think I just saw like a lightning bolt fly across from one forehead to the other. There was, next thing you know, Mike's offering her some of the, they're eating off of each other's plates. Oh, here, you have a bite of my egg, honey. Don't take this the wrong way. Mike gives Kim a bite of his sausage. It's a breakfast sausage. Okay, it was just one of those things on the plate. They're still at the diner. Stop it. So they're sharing back and forth. Giggly wiggly tee back and forth. That's all they're like. They're like, tee. Next thing you know, what do I see? Because I'm side-eyeing. What do I see? I see their hands in their lap slipped together. They're sitting at the diner table, holding hands. They both had a place to stay that night, separate. You're going to be over here. They had planned. They didn't know that they were going to have, they didn't know that sparks were going to go flying. They had to change their sleeping arrangements. So MVP was the smoothest, coolest cat you've ever seen. He went in there and he snapped Kim up in a heartbeat. Okay? They ended up, from that moment forward, they've been hanging out. Mike moved out of his place, moved to where Kim lived so they could be closer. At a mush fest later on, we had another mush fest. Melody, they were holding hands. These are two grown adults. They're holding hands. You don't hold hands. Rico Suave, MVP. I'm not kidding you. It was the cutest thing. And everybody, the rest of us mushroom heads were all, oh, isn't this adorable? Kevin's at home pouting. Sorry, Kev. The rest of us are like, This is the greatest thing. Nobody cared about Kevin's poor feelings. Oh my God, this is the cutest thing you've ever seen in your whole life. So I've had a couple of coaching sessions with Kevin. He's not going to change. He only wants to talk about fishing. If you get into late fall, he'll change the subject and we'll talk about hunting. But that's it. Okay? You're not going to change. So later on at another mush fest, the cutest couple in the room, that's these two, Kim and Mike. It was all filmed and everything. They were it was a beautiful location. And what's Mike do? He pops the question. He has an engagement ring. He pops the question, and Kim, of course, said yes. I mean, come on, she's got the coolest guy in the room. And we all watched them get engaged at a mush fest. We watched them meet. We watched them get engaged. And I'm just so proud of them, and I'm proud of our group for fostering these kind of relationships. I mean, obviously, this one's extreme. We're not all going to get married to each other. But think of the friendships that we've gained. Think of what we are experiencing together, and that we try to get together 2 times a year, usually spring and fall. And these kind of things can happen. These kind of things can happen because they both weren't putting on any airs. They're both being themselves, and 2 lovely, lovely, super smart individuals. So thank you also to all of our mush friends that supported them, helped them in their getting married, were there as guests and everything else. It was Free had written to me, showed me a picture of Cleanie and the bride and the groom, and he goes, "Pops, this is a ripple." And here's the real ripple. One of the people in the picture was from New Hampshire. One of the people in the picture was from North Carolina originally. Another person in the picture was from Texas. And they're all in Colorado at a mush wedding. Can I get 5 people that think that's pretty cool? Give me 5 people that think that is a big old ripple, eggs. That's closer to a tsunami, in my opinion. That's really, and Nerdy said it was the most beautiful wedding ever. But that is as close to a tsunami as we can put together doing this Tea with Pops virtually and impacting lives in the most positive ways. Okay? That is some beautiful stuff. Congratulations to Kim and Mike. Our fishing this weekend wasn't as successful. Jeff and Kevin went out on Saturday. I was too busy Saturday. I had a bunch of shipping and other things that I had to do. I couldn't go fishing Saturday. Jeff and Kevin went out. They caught so many fish. He was going, "We got to go out again on Sunday." They filled their boat that fast, just the 2 of them. And then he said, "Pops, it was crazy water because we caught 8 different kinds of fish. Usually we just catch maybe a walleyes and some perch and something else to jump on the line once during the day." They were catching, so he goes, "Let's go out again Sunday." So we did. We went out again Sunday morning. Where is it? Slow, it wasn't happening. Nothing compared to the day before, except that we caught another wide variety of fish. Shine, yes. Between Saturday and Sunday, these are the kinds of fish that were caught. Bass, rock bass, silver bass, yellow perch, white perch, pike, catfish, drum, of course, walleye. I'm probably missing 1 or 2. The river is super healthy. The river is super duper healthy. There's a lot of different fish. we caught a bunch of fish, but we didn't catch the. We're always shooting for walleye, and it was a beautiful morning. Got a little windy, turned into a bathtub out there after a while, because what happens is when the river's going this way and the wind is going against the river's drift directly, it creates waves. If the wind's blowing with the river, then it's usually smooth. If the wind's blowing right against, or even cross, isn't as bad. But when it's blowing straight up the river, it creates a kind of a wash tub effect. So we were out there wash tubbing it up and pretty good too. So, but Jeff did a phenomenal job of keeping us on the fish. And I think we ended up getting 12 wallies and just a ton of other types. I've never seen this big a catfish. Jeff caught a catfish. We don't keep them. But Jeff caught a catfish that was, I don't know, half the length of the boat. Pretty close. Yeah. And then I showed you guys a picture on my IG. There's a video of Kevin catching a big old drum. We literally had to reorient the boat and change and everything just so Kevin would have, I mean, this thing was taking drag. Fish out there don't take drag, but this guy was like so big and strong. So, no, we released, the only thing we actually really keep is the walleye. The day before, Jeff had caught a catfish, and he took that home for the pets. So he had that for the pets. So that's the fishing report. Nature was just absolutely wonderful. More Saturday than Sunday. But, gosh, between the 2 days, I can't imagine how much fish Jeff and Kevin had put on the boat. And then I got there Sunday, and I needed the day out. I really do. I need those days. And unfortunately, I couldn't go Saturday, but Jeff got me out Sunday. So those are my guys. I've been teasing the heck out of Kevin here this morning. I love Kevin to the bone. I love Kevin to the bone. It's what makes his week is when we go fishing. Other than that, I don't think he has a lot of contact. We try to get him involved. We try to get him more involved. He's a very shy fella. But yeah. So I'll try to get out there once a week just to keep myself balanced. Okay? Because when I'm not there, you guys guess where I am? I'm at the Detroit Grow House. Go look at my IG for post this morning. Justin, the walleye are literally it's work with the south wind, Jeff says. That's what it is. It was a south wind because we're going north-south. The river goes north-south. Kevin is a great guy. That's sweet of you to mention because all in all, even with my story there, he still asks about Kim. So, do you see Kim? How's Kim doing? He won't talk about Mike, okay? But he talks about Kim. So, how's Kim doing? She still go fishing sometimes? I go, yeah, Kev. Yeah, she goes fishing. She'd sure like to talk about dancing or something. All right. You guys all know a friend that has no game whatsoever. Kev. But he can catch fish. This week, I'm going to fly some information at you guys. We do rando factos here. We do mytho bustos. Okay? But you know what we're going to do? Amelia, you are not alone. You have us as your friends. You're not alone. You're not alone. You're not alone. Okay. Games, geeks, and gadgets. Games, geeks, and gadgets. Before I get started, I'm going to do a quick giveaway. If 2 or 3 of you know this very quickly, then we'll spin. We'll spin. But the word nerd. Who was the first person to use the word nerd in writing? Documented. Who was the first one to use the word nerd? And it's not nerd nature. Who do you think it was? Well, we're going to give it to Nerdy. We're giving it to Nerdy. He should know. And the answer is Dr. Seuss. Dr. Seuss. Nerdy knew. Right after him, Brian C. knew too. Nerd. The first person, Nerdy should have known. I'm very, very pleased, Nerdy, that you knew the answer. I see that, Brian C., but you said it after Nerd. Okay? I'm going to send you this 5 grams of ODPE, Nerdy. I'm on the boat with Jeff on Sunday. I'm on the boat with Jeff on Sunday, and he's, we're just looking for conversation. He goes, so, I just got a package in the mail from Nerd Nature. I go, you did? He goes, oh, yeah. And he started reading off all the things that were in this package from Nerdy. Nerdy's out there sending packages to people you don't even know. He just picked Captain Jeff, and the next thing, Captain Jeff was incredibly blessed that Nerdy's like, boop, out of nowhere, just here's a package in the mail. You wonder why the guy's smiling all the time? Nerdy does the entire wedding party. I believe it. Nerdy. So we're going to send him, this is nothing compared to what Nerdy does, but we're going to send you this 5 gram pack, Nerdy. So send me your address, and I'll get this mailed out to you today. Nerds. Let's read a bunch of nerdy stuff real quick. I'm going to run down this nerdy stuff. The first the first pocket calculator hit the market in Japan in 1970. Pocket calculators only from 1970. I would have thought they were sooner. The first American-made pocket-sized calculator was the Bomar 901B. Back then, it sold for $240 for a pocket calculator. $240 in the early 70s, that was probably a $1,000 unit right there. Microsoft founder Bill Gates scored a 1590 out of a 1600 on the SAT. It got him into Harvard, but he dropped out after 2 years to do other things. I'm out. The 1980 arcade game, Pac-Man, originally came out in Japan as Puck-Man. The name was changed when it realized how vandals could have fun with the word puck. Let's not use puck. Let's go pack. Starcade. Starcade was a game show that was broadcast on the TBS network in the United States from 1982 to 1983. It featured contestants, usually teenagers, playing current arcade games against each other for prizes. They'd sit around and play Ms. Pac-Man on TV for prizes. I didn't know that show. If you're familiar with the video game Minecraft, then you know for many it's much more than a game. That's probably why Minecraft is the top-selling game of all time, with more than 238 million units sold. Minecraft. Do you guys want a couple more geeks and gadget info? You guys want a little bit more geeks and gadgets and nerds info? I'm just going to fly some info at you here. The Abacus was actually the world's first calculator. The variations of this device were used as far back as 3000 BC in Mesopotamia. The Abacus. Lenovo was the top-selling computer brand in 2020. Lenovo. I think I have one of their TVs, a monitor. Lenovo was the top-selling computer brand in 2020 with 87 million units sold and 19% of the market share. Apple was second with 18% of the market share. Lenovo is taken over. Python. Python was the most widely used computer language in 2021, even though it was developed in 1991 by a Dutch programmer, Guido van Rossum. But it took 20 years, 30 years to become the most widely used computer language. 30-year-old language, and they were using it in 2021. This guy must have really known what he was doing back in 1991. That he was so thoughtful in his programming that it's being the most widely used 30 years later. How about that? The internet has been around in different forms since the early 1970s. But the World Wide Web was invented in 1989 by a British computer scientist, Tim Berners-Lee. 1989? 1989 is when I feel like the World Wide Web's been around my whole life. That's crazy. Here it is. Techies are often referred to as nerds. The oldest documented use of the word nerd is in the 1950 Dr. Seuss book, If I Ran the Zoo. What if Pops ran the zoo? Oh. In 2000, the Windows mobile phone was the first truly smartphone to hit the market. The platform was declared end of life on January 14th, 2020. Windows mobile phone was the first smartphone, 2020. It's only 24 years ago. Crazy. The iPhone was first released to public use on June 29th, 2007, while the Android mobile operating system had been released by Google in 2008. iPhone 2007, Google comes along with an Android in 2008. I don't know about you guys, but these numbers seem so... I feel like it's weird. I feel like it should have... I feel like they've been around forever, but they haven't. I had a beeper. I remember having a beeper. I remember the biggest thing ever was to get a BlackBerry. Oh my God, I got a BlackBerry. Personal data device. PDD or something. I forget what they called it. Atari made many of its own games for its console, including E.T., the extraterrestrial game, in 1982. Atari ordered a production of 5 million units of E.T. based off of movie sales, and they only sold 1.5 million of them. There's 3.5 million units of E.T. the extraterrestrial sitting around in Atari warehouses somewhere. Factoids. Okay. That was for geeky factoids. Let's do something else. We're going to talk about, this is our mycology informational time of the show. And then we have a very small reading at the end where we're going to talk about, it's an awkward subject. It's a weird subject, but we'll be covering that for our reading. But I've I research our industry. I try to keep my finger on the pulse. I try to stay current with what's happening in the markets. I try to stay current in what's happening in research. And it takes a little bit of work but we have the resources. We have our computers and we have our Wi-Fi. And once you start finding good sources, they're sources that you can mine and mine again. Do you think that people can do studies, specifically maybe psilocybin or LSD or MDMA? Do you think they could do these and they have arranged ideas of how the study should read out? And so let's just, for want of a better word, do you think they falsify some of their results? Do you think that happens out there? Or do you think everybody is just completely above board like Pops? Like me! You think it happens? It's such a bummer, isn't it? It happens. And it's happening now in our industry. You know, one of the ones that I think is a victim to it, or people allow themselves to be victimized because they haven't done enough research. Ketamine. I think there's a lot of false information about ketamine. And I think that a lot of people have commercialized it and taken advantage of people that are looking for something. And hopefully ketamine was their answer. Let's look at this article here. 1 second. Red flags in the new 2024 depression ketamine research paper. A short blog for a change. This is going to be a short blog, he says. I don't have 4 to 6 hours that it takes me to vet a paper detailing the study, but he's going to give us the basics. I'll focus on some of the obvious issues with this recent ketamine depression study. Okay? For those who would like to look at the paper more carefully, which I have, he provides a template on how to do so. After an initial phase, is this interesting? Is this interesting? Is this something I should read to you guys about? There's a new study for ketamine, and according to this author and many others now, it's been incredibly misrepresented. And while I want to yell shame on them, what I want to do instead is educate us. We want to always be on top of what we're doing. And if something works, we'll say it. And if something doesn't work, we got to say that too. We bust myths here. Mythbusters. After an initial phase, 168 participants were randomized to either receive a placebo or one of 4 different dose levels of ketamine, 30, 60, 120, and 180 milligrams. They were prescribed it for twice a week for 12 weeks. So you have 4 study groups now. You have a placebo group. You have a group going, actually 5. You have a group doing 30 milligrams, a group doing 60 milligrams, a group doing 120 milligrams, and a group doing 180 milligrams. And they're doing this twice a week. The placebo guys don't know they're the placebo guys. Obviously, that's the whole idea. Authors concluded that ketamine tablets were very effective, very safe, and well-focused. Let us only focus on effective for now. Does the study show that ketamine is effective compared to the placebo? The primary endpoint in clinical trial registration is week 13. Specifically, the registration reads, that's of this study. They were looking for the results because they were going to do it for 12 weeks. And now they're hitting week 13, and they're going to categorize the results. Okay? So the clinical trial registration week would be called week 13. So we're primarily interested in week 13 and how the 4 ketamine groups fared compared to the 5th group, the placebo group. Let's look at how the authors report these results in their abstract. The primary objective was met. The least square mean difference score was for the 180 milligram tablet group and for the placebo group. And then it goes on and says some other things in the paper. It's a great paper, by the way. What the reader does not see is that the other 3 ketamine groups, the 30 group, the 60 group, and the 120 group, did not outperform the placebo. This means that the primary objective was met is literally false. You don't even need to read the clinical trial registration. You can just read the paper itself, where the authors write, we hypothesized that an extended release tablet formulation of ketamine could be effective and well tolerated. This hypothesis is rejected based off of the results of the study. Of the around 130 patients who received the ketamine, authors demonstrate only 18 patients in the final 180 milligram group showed improvements and outperformed the placebo group. 18 people, and they're taking the largest dose possible, and only 18 of them outperform the placebo group. The other 3 groups did not outperform them. That isn't what they told us in the study. That's what's in the results when you read the paper. This kind of cherry picking of results we see all the time in literature and in books and in magazines such as Nature Medicine. Nature Medicine has a track record of publishing studies with problematic claims like this. Now let's look at the actual results. There are 12 relevances for us regarding the question of whether ketamine outperformed placebo. How did the ketamine group fare compared to placebo in terms of reducing depression symptoms? This is the primary endpoint. How did the ketamine groups compared both in response and in remission? Depression scores 30 milligrams, no significant reduction. Depression scores 60 milligrams, no significant reduction. Depression scores 180, a slight significant 19% of those showed a greater significance than the placebo. Depression response, 60%, the 60 milligram group, no difference than the placebo. The 30 milligram group, no difference than the placebo. The 120 milligram group, no difference than the placebo. The group that got the 180, barely significant, 0.46% showed that there was a response to their depression. Depression remission. How long are you going to be in remission from this depression, from this ketamine that you paid who knows how much for? Depression remission. The 30 milligram group, no difference than the placebo group. The 60 milligram group, no difference than the placebo group. The 120 milligram group, no difference than the placebo group. The 180 milligram group, no difference in his remission than the guys that had taken placebo. That isn't what the study told us. That's what the results have told us when we mine into the paper and you actually read the results. This meant overall, the author's own analysis do not show evidence that more people remitted from depression at week 13 compared to those that took the placebos. This is barely significant evidence that in the final 180 milligram group, there was a response to the initial depression, but there was no remission. This does not justify the overall conclusion in the abstract that ketamine tablets were effective, safe, and well tolerated. This is the case particularly because at least 130 patients who received some dose of ketamine showed no improvements whatsoever versus the 18 people that did, minus those that took the placebo. I sound a little incensed. I think I might be. I think I might be a little incensed. Because if you just read the author's conclusion, oh, it worked like, oh, heck yeah. It did not. It did not. And we need to be honest. It's this kind of stuff that will sink our ships. It did not. And if we're going to be doing clinical testing, let's give the real results. Come what may. It may not be what we want to tell people. And I wonder how many of these people are involved in the selling of ketamine in the first place. So let's be careful. Let's know that what we're talking about, let's do our own research. Let's look into some of this stuff. Let's get informed. It's sort of a responsibility, especially a guy like me who's really trying to grow this community and grow the elements that are involved in the community. There's a lot of responsibility. You lead someone down the wrong path, watch them spend hundreds and thousands of dollars for these ketamine treatments, and if they're working good, if they're not, would you please stop stealing money from people? We're going to talk about, this will be here for just a couple of minutes here. We're going to talk about envy. Envy. And the first reaction is don't be envious. Don't be envious. You don't want to, envy seems to be like an emotion that's clouding and doesn't allow me the transparency that I want to have. But there are certain kinds of envies that are actually good for us. Just like there's different kinds of love, I would say. Brother, father, romantic. There's different types. There's different kinds of envies too. I'm not sure I even get to decide if I envy somebody. It just happens. I'm sitting there, I'm like, man, I wish I could do that. Like, envy just comes to me. I don't plan it. I don't say, oh, I can't. I'm gonna get envious of this guy. Watch. Envy just creeps into me. It's what do I do with it? Where did that envy come from? Working on my awareness. As long as I'm clean, I can be aware. I wonder where that envy comes from. Is this good envy? Or is this bad envy? I want to ask myself that when I feel envy. I'm not even going to chase away the bad envy. I mean, the good envy. Bad envy, I don't want. Good envy might help. There might be something in there for me. There might be, in good envy, there might be motivation. I'm not sure I get to decide to envy somebody. It just sort of happens. But I'm definitely aware when I have envy. Let's define envy as a simple coveting what someone else has. Coveting what someone else has. It's not always a bad thing. This guy gives us a really neat list of a few people that he envies. Listen to this list. I get it. There's 2 or 3 in here. Could have a great day, Paige. There's 2 or 3 in here I get right away. He says, I envy Dave Chappelle's honesty, timing, and freedom to be creative. I don't always agree with him, but I envy that. I envy Dave Chappelle's honesty. Oh, that's a good one. I envy Malcolm X's resolve. I do. That was a man that believed what he believed, and he stood up for it, and he died for it. I envy the resolve. I envy couples who've successfully celebrated a marriage for 50 years. I envy their ability to have loved and compromised for that long. Do you see some of these envies that we can have are not a bad thing? It's like, I'm aware I'm envious, and why am I, and what can I do with it? Niffer, isn't that beautiful? 50 years. You have to envy that. If you want to know what matters to you, look around and see what you envy. You'll envy stuff that matters to you. You're not supposed to envy anything. Yeah, actually, it's okay. Yeah, actually, it's okay. There's different kinds of envy. I'm going to read them to you. There's benign envy. Benign. That's simply wishing you had what other people had, but only focusing on the good. Maybe you wish you had Beyonce's body or Jay-Z's ability to still have hair in his 50s, or their combined fertility to have twins. Maybe you wish you had your sister's patience. In my case, my sister's sweetness. Or your best friend's work ethic. Maybe some of you wish you had Pop's work ethic. Or your dad's ability to fall asleep anywhere at any time. Benign envy helps us reveal to us what matters to us. And it doesn't mean we have issues with the people that have things that we don't. It doesn't mean I have a problem with my sister for being sweeter than me. As a matter of fact, it gives me a little bit of a target, a little bit of a goal. The benign envy stuff, it gives me something to work towards. How will I get there? We all know Pop's favorite word, practice. Then there's the emulative envy, which, like benign envy, focuses on the good. And it holds the belief that things we envy are attainable. It's okay to envy something that's good and attainable. This is why we may do our hair and makeup like our favorite celebrity, or why we wear shoes like our favorite athlete, or why we even just copy our older siblings. Emulative envy probably comes from our survival days, copying the best hunters and providers. This type of envy is still pretty harmless. This is the envy we don't want. Are we liking this subject a little bit? Is this subject resonating with you guys this morning? I think our clear goal always is to be aware of where that envy is coming from, what kind of am I experiencing, and what good can I do with it? We don't squash it. We walk through the envy and go, oh, I just learned a lot about myself. I learned what's important to me. Then there's the malicious, insidious envy. This is the most painful and it causes damage. This is when you love what another person has, but you also hate them for having it. This can be a coworker getting a promotion, or a friend getting engaged, or watching a rival sports team in their victory parade. Sometimes we unconsciously assume they don't deserve what they have. As our resentment deepens, we start to have unpleasant thoughts. The idea that someone's misfortune can bring you pleasure. That's where envy can get to. The insidious envy. The envious, this is a great quote. Helmut Schoch says, the envious man thinks that if his neighbor breaks a leg, he will be able to walk better himself. If Joe across the street breaks his leg, I can run fast. That's evil. That's a form of malicious envy. The only value to envy is if we bring it to light and we say it out loud. That's a big part of it. Envy has power to go somewhere really bad if we don't speak it out. Well, I wish I had what you guys have, and I'll tell you why. It would make me stronger. It would make me more honest. I want it for good. For all of us. I'm glad you have it. I envy a little bit of that. I'm going to get some. I'm going to practice my way to where you guys are. Do we look at people and do that? Yeah, I do. I look at certain people and I'm going to practice my way to where they are. I envy Jeff's ability to catch fish. Do I sit around and like, son of a bitch, I'm going to break every one of his rods? Or do I like, I'm going to learn how to fish. I'm going to go out with him as often as I possibly can. Envy is less about your relationship with the other person than it is about your relationship with yourself. Why am I feeling envy? Pseudo-positive pep talks to yourself, wishing them the best, won't contribute as much as to your growth as admitting that your envy exists in the first place. Just admit it. It wasn't hard for me to admit I envy Jeff to be able to catch fish. What I do with that envy is what's important. That's a benign envy. That's actually an emulative envy, where I emulate it. It's important to me. I'd love to be able to, he catches 6 and I caught 7. Not because I'm being competitive, but because I'm learning from the best how to be the best. Who doesn't want to learn and be better? Who doesn't? Understanding that going deeper into envy will also reduce its sting. I only have a couple more minutes here. I'm almost done. When we focus on the good parts of envy, realizing that someone else has what we want, it's proof that we can get it too. There isn't anything I do that you can't do. There isn't anything that I emulatively have envy of someone else that I can't do. There isn't. There isn't. if it's important to me, I can practice to it. But there isn't. When we focus on the good parts of envy, we can get bitter or we can get better. Oh, that's so strong. We can get bitter or we can get better. Hold on to that one. I'm picking better today. I'm over bitter. We all want people in our lives that celebrate our good fortune. Let's start by being that for others. We want people in our lives that celebrate our good fortune. Are you celebrating other people's good fortune? Kim and Mike? You want someone to celebrate your good fortune? Start by celebrating someone else's. Watch it ripple. Watch people from all over the United States end up on some mountaintop in Colorado. Oh man, goosebumps all the way up my leg. You can tell others you envy what they have or what they have accomplished and still be happy for them. I'm so happy for you. I'm so glad you have that. One of these days, if I practice hard enough and it's important enough to me, I'm going to have one just like it. Thank you for showing me it's possible. I don't envy you in a negative way. Thank you for showing me that it's possible. Oh, that son of a gun, he thinks he's really something because he's got this and he's got... No, what he's really doing is he's showing you what's possible. Wow. Bringing that envy into light is a great way of keeping yourself from getting dark. Bringing that kind of envy into light, speaking it, being aware of it, is the best way to keep from getting dark. So don't shame yourself for feeling envious. Don't resent the people you envy. Envy is an opportunity to learn about yourself, connect with what really matters, and practice celebrating others. All of which are the most important ways that we have to open up our pathways of love. And I like Herbie's summary. Herbie says, in summary, don't be a hater. Celebrator, be a celebrator, Herbs. We celebrate one another. We celebrate the wonders. We celebrate our nature. We celebrate the planet. We celebrate each other. And it's okay to want what each other have if it's causing us to grow and be more. Good stuff this morning? Somebody told me that was good stuff this morning, Pops. I'm going to do one final giveaway. Good stuff this morning. Because we were taught, like, don't be envious. In a way, we're probably, don't be a negative envious, but there's a lot of good positive envies out there. Okay? I love you guys so much. I love having these talks with each other in the morning. And this is what I'm going to practice today. I'm going to find something I'm envious about. I'm looking for it. Now I'm going to look for one. And I'm going to see if it's something that I want to practice towards getting more of myself. Or if it's just okay, like the guy across the street. He's got the nicest lawn you've ever seen in your whole life. I'm a little envious about that. But I'm happy for him. He's got the lawn that's going to get the award. Every year he'll get the award. It's not important enough to me to go out and weed every day like he has to, though. I mean, this guy will spend 5 hours a day weeding in his yard. I'm over at my grow house. So I'm a little envious, but I can recognize where the envy's coming from, and I don't have to hate him, nor am I worried about my yard being better than his. I'm just glad I know where it came from. And I bet you he would be envious of my grow house. If he knew where it was. Kidding. Okay? Right, D? His lawn is his tub of shrooms. So nothing wrong with any of that stuff for any of us. It's being aware. It's being aware and practicing ourselves towards the things that we know would just make us that much better of a person. Okay. I'm going to do a giveaway. There's 50 states in the United States. 50. I wrote down one of them here on my paper. The first person to tell me which state I wrote down is going to win a 5-gram prize. 5 grams of ODPE. Go. First person. Please only write one name at a time, one state name at a time. Okay? Which state did I write down? Which state? We're going to be doing states the rest of the week, so get your state lists out. CCS got it. CCS got it. CCS got it. It was Montana. Montana. CCS was the first Montana on my page. CCS, congratulations, my good friend CCS, who does a phenomenal job for us on our website. CCS, you just won a Montana package. Okay, the rest of this week, we're going to be giving a couple of packages per day away. Get your state lists out. Get your 50 states in front of you. Cross out Montana, because I won't use that one again. And get ready to be able to fire states at me this week. Okay? And no, there are no states called alternator. Not that I know about. That's alternate state. But there's no state called alternator. All right, just for clarification purposes, okay? So no more Montana. We're going to take Montana off the list, okay? There's lag times, Belly Cooper, and the first person on my screen was CCS. And CCS is saying pay it forward to Herbie and TY. Herbie, you're getting the Montana package. Herbie. I'll send you the Montana. Thank you, CCS, for doing that. Okay? We're going to send that package to Herbie Von Werby Kebab. One of the reasons is he had a really rough week last week. And the other one is he's a phenomenal one that we could easily be envious of, a moderator. Okay? The only one that's not envious is Penny Pack. She's like, I don't even want the job. Okay? You guys go have a beautiful day. Homeboy and Herbie, Alternate Ramada, and Joe D's. And those are going to be territories. We're not including territories. Mizzou, Daniel Griffin, Anthony, there's the big man. Katie, Kimberly, there's no Chartreuse State. Tiffany, Jesus Christ in Australia. Jesus, I said alternator first. Leroy and Ducky Sauce and Shiny and Penny and Herbs. They're both wrenching on each other. D. Anderson, Abilene, thank you for being here. Outdoors, have an awesome day. Nerdy, keep smiling. Homie, Pacers, there he is. Herbs and Pens and Joey and Mike and Waz. Someone hits the playback. That's a good one, Waz. Satter, Gleany, Matt, Anthony, Satter, and Mr. E. Shine. Free. Jolie Cantor, there she is. Jonathan K. all day. Cat Meow. Zilla. Penny Pack. RX1. Jesus Christ. Derek Anderson. Tree Stumpy. Melody Dawn. Thanks for being here, Melody. Mizu and Amelia. We start at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, so adjust your time accordingly. Mike Barabal, Pilar, Duck Sauce, Pacers, Leroy, Nippy, you have a beautiful day. Free for you too. He's so fed. Hi, so fed. There's your shout out. Shine, Laura, have a divine day. Tony got subbed. Jesus Christ, CCS home. Hey, thank you. Katie and Waz and Amelia, bye-bye. Mike Ball and Tiffany, there she is. Hi, so I did it. CCS, Cat, Zilla, Joe D's, Kimberly, Herb, Michael Patterson, Sean T, Shiny, Nerdy Amelia, 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. CCS Tree Stomp. Mizu, there's my little Kevin. Free Rilo. Rijo Abilene, Jesus Christ in Australia. Outdoors in Neo Simplex and Roy Henry O. And Satterwolf and Live Life in No Rush. And Shiny and Livin' and Satter and Livin' and Mr. Phillips. Homeboy and Pops and Mark Zamaron. Herbie Amelia. Kimberly Justin. Greeny Shiny. Melody Dawn. Mike Barry Ball. Pops. Peace. Practice. See you guys tomorrow.